but I'm with Inundation in race number 6.
But Inundation's dropped them. But how smart this Inundation, he's barely touched it and has trounced them.
But I'm with Cardinal Gem and VULTAN in race 8 at CAULFIELD.
But Cardinal Gem deserves this and is going to win it. Cardinal Gem won it from Place of Gold, Daytona Bay, ARRAN Bay.
Hello everyone, it's finals day at Flemington. Basically every race day for the last month and a half has been building up to this day. Can't wait to get on to the winners. Let's start with race 1 as always.
Race number 1 is the Leilani Series final for the mares over the 1400 metres, and AFFARE is the $3 favourite for Chris Waller first up. $3.50 is the second favourite in MEGAMEA. And MEGAMEA and ZOUSONIC come out of this race at Flemington. This was 2 weeks ago when Gran Remore won. SELBUROSE also comes out of this race, but I'm not highlighting it. MEGAMEA and ZOUSONIC are just starting to hit peak fitness in their preps. These two horses both ran on from the back, as you can see here. ZOUSONIC probably doing a little bit the better, but on the weekend, the weight swing between these two horses heavily favours MEGAMEA, and that's the reason I've put it on top. MEGAMEA's drawn gate 2, and it is a back marker, which is a bit of a query, but with the long Flemington straight, I don't expect that to be a factor. So I got MEGAMEA on top in the first, ahead of ZOUSONIC, who I've said is in good form and can win. SELBUROSE 1400, is it its best distance? I'm not sure, but it will give it every chance. Brett Preble will. And AFFARE, the favourite, first up, might need the run compared to these fit horses like MEGAMEA. Race 2 is the Next Generation Sprinters final. This is for the 2-year-olds over the 1200 metres. Thron Bone is the $3.60 favourite off the back up beating Gennady last week. CHASETON for Peter Moody is also at $3.80. This was Vagrant's debut win at Swan Hill. This was in a Fillies and Mares maiden. Kaleidoscope Eyes ran third in this race, and that's a decent horse. But the way Vagrant won this race came from the back. Nothing else really ran on from the back. It charged through and just proved too strong. Down the Flemington straight is always a bit of a query with these 2-year-olds, but I think Vagrant should be able to handle it. Drawn the right part of the track, is a back marker, there'll be pace on, and I think it's over the odds at $10 considering what it did there, and I think it can win this race at $10. Without Envy in there for second, first starter for Danny O'Brien, John McNeil takes the ride, jumped out well, it's my second pick. CHASETON will put itself on speed and give itself every chance for Luke Nolan and Peter Moody, unstoppable combo, and Zoo Sensation in there for fourth, but I'm with Vagrant at odds in race number 2. Race 3 is the Revette Series final over the 1400 metres for the 3-year-old fillies, and Road to ARATAKI is the $3.50 favourite ahead of My Yankee Girl at $4.20. And this was My Yankee Girl's most recent win at Sandown on the hillside track. This was over the 1300 metres. The pace slackened early and it sort of got its head up in the air, but once they started to get rolling, it really let down well. And the step up to 1400 metres on the weekend, I don't think will be any query. Damien Oliver gets off, but John McNeil goes on, so I don't think you're losing anything there. From gate 5 can be a tad closer, and if they go at the same tempo they did here, then I think My Yankee Girl wins this race. Has to go back onto a firmer surface, but I don't say that to be any query at all. Road to ARATAKI, 2 back, beat Place of Gold pretty well. If it can get back to that form, it beats this field, but just not sure based off last start. Liberated Girl, 6-week freshen up, or it's had a setback. If it's had a setback, I'm not too sure with it, and Bella Rouge has to carry the big weight, but I'm with My Yankee Girl in the third. Race 4 is the Taj Rossi Series final for the 2-year-olds over the 1600 metres. We got equal favourites in MAGNASPIN and Quantree at $6, and $7.50 next is Anfina. MAGNASPIN and Grinzinger Bishop come out of this race. There's no fluke about the win for Grinzinger Bishop. If you look through the form guide, you would see that it ran on a heavy track on debut and ran a poor race. Back onto a firmer surface here. It showed its class, and that's what we saw in the jump outs before its first ever run. So the reason Grinzinger Bishop is a bigger price than MAGNASPIN is because of the starting price profile. Grinzinger Bishop started 100 to 1 on this day, and I think you're getting some value with Grinzinger Bishop considering what it did there. From gate 1 should settle midfield or about there, and I think it can win. Quantree in there for second, won at Swan Hill, beating King's Consort. That was a pretty good win. It can do it again. MAGNASPIN probably nearly should have beaten Grinzinger Bishop last start if it got clear luck. Up to 1600 metres here, Suits and King's Consort I've got in there for fourth for John McNeil. But I'm with Grinzinger Bishop in the Taj Rossi. Race 5 is the Mahogany Challenge final over the 2,500 metres for the 3-year-olds, and Texas T is the $2.90 favourite. Rock Up is next best at $3.40, and they both clear out. They both come through this race at Flemington over the 2,000 metres in the same class, a 3-year-old handicap. Texas T probably had the run of the race and won accordingly, just under 3 lengths to Rock Up, who really got going late, had to squeeze through a few horses. These two horses will both be suited to the step to 2,500 metres. Rock Up looks like from this race probably better. Rock Up can settle closer, but I'm just with Texas T. I just can't doubt the Mara and Eustace stable at this distance range. Texas T won here with authority, and I reckon it can do it again. So 20 the win on Texas T. Rock Up in for second, obviously. As I've said, Fear the X gets a weight swing on its rivals in this race based off its last start run at Sandown. And Forest Diamond next best for Jamie Mott at $12. Texas T and Rock Up will probably finish in the top 2 here in race number 5, the Mahogany Challenge final. But I'm with Texas T. Race 6 is the Banjo Patterson Series final over the 2,600 metres in Maserartie Bay, with the big weight as the $5 favourite, $6.50 for both Saracen Knight and MONBAHER next best. But Maserartie Bay and Pesto come out of this race at Flemington. This was about 4 weeks ago or so, and Maserartie Bay absolutely romped in. Had Jamie Carr here. Jamie Carr doesn't ride on this occasion, but John McNeil goes on, so not losing anything at all. And as I said for the last race, you just can't doubt Mara and Eustace when they get their horses to these sort of distance ranges. Maserartie Bay eased down on the line. I think the weight isn't as big of an issue. I just couldn't really find anything that I was confident enough in to get Maserartie Bay beat, and that's why I've got it on top. 15 the win on Maserartie Bay. MONBAHER, get it back onto a good track and you'll see what it's really like. Brett Preble takes the ride, drawing for a good run. Don't doubt Dory was solid last start, as was Pesto in the same race. That was a bit of a sit and sprint which didn't suit the horses, but I'm with Maserartie Bay in the 6th race at Flemington. Race 7 is the Santa Ana Lane Sprint Series final over the 1,200 metres, and Ashford Street is the $3.70 favourite. SAVATOXL next best at $5.50, and Zach DeBoss is at $6. I'm with the boy who has to carry the weight, and it's SAVATOXL. This was its most recent jump out at Kerrang, just to keep it ticking over in between runs. Its last start run was at Morphettville in the Goodwood Stakes. Despite the big weight, we've got to remember how good this horse is. It's won a Group 1 before, never been down the straight, which can be a little bit of a query, but from gate 4 is drawn for a good run. Blake McDougall takes the ride, and like I said with the last race, I just couldn't get SAVATOXL beat with enough that I was confident in. Zach DeBoss has to do it at 1,200 metres first before I could tip it on top, but from gate 7 will be right there on speed, giving it all. Same with Ashford Street, 1,200, I don't think it's his best distance at all. Gate 3, T.O. Nugent can win, and Sartorial Splendor probably needs 1,000 metres or 1,100 to show its best. I'm with SAVATOXL in the Santa Ana Lane Sprint Series final. Race 8 is the Winter Championship final over the 1,600 metres. On this page, looks like Elvis is at $7. We've got $11 for Frankie Pinot, $3.10 for the favourite Tuvalu. Sir Davy is at $6. This was an impressive performance by Tuvalu. It came down to a match race in the end between it and Vicinari. Vicinari isn't an easy horse to get past, and Tuvalu did that. This was on a wet track, gets back on a firmer surface, which I don't see to be an issue. Draws gate 18 on the weekend, will stay out of trouble, but might have to work to cross the field. The format of this race has been good, with D'Aguilar coming out and winning last week at Caulfield, and I reckon Tuvalu's the one to beat here. If it can get back to its very best, no issues, I reckon it's the winner here, and I've got 25 to win on Tuvalu, pretty confident. Looks like Elvis was a good win behind in front of its out time 2 starts back at Flemington. If it can replicate that, it should win this race. Frankie Pinot's a good horse. Gate 17 will have to get back, and Sir Davy needs to get off gate 1 again. But I'm with Tuvalu in race number 8 at Flemington, the Winter Championship final. The lucky last is the Silver Bowl Series final over the 1,600 metres for the 3-year-olds, and Cardinal Gem on the week back up is the $2.80 favourite, just ahead of ARRAN Bay at $5, but this was Cardinal Gem's last start effort at Caulfield last week. I love this horse. I've tipped it on top numerous times, and it just keeps showing up. It's been either without luck, or it's done what it's done on this occasion. This was over the 1,400 metres. Has to step up to the 1,600 metres, which is not so much of an issue, but it was stopping on the line here, and that's probably because of its long, wide, sustained run that it made very early in the race. It's better than all of these. It's just whether it shows up on the day and gets luck, and I reckon it can. From gate 5, I'm with Cardinal Gem to blast down the last, 25 to win on it. ARRAN Bay in there for second, was a good run behind Cardinal Gem last week. He's also on the week back up, gate 6, drawn well. BLAZERRO nearly beat Bigolino last start. From gate 4 will be right there, and I Don't Get It, I reckon, is over the odds at $18. Good luck to you all on finals day. I think I've found some winners. I hope you do too, and I'll see you next week.